In the heart of winter, beneath a sky swollen with storm clouds, a weather-beaten cottage stands alone at the edge of a dark, snow-choked forest. Anna, a 16-year-old girl with pale skin and a tumble of dark hair, presses her trembling palm against the frosted windowpane, her breath fogging the brittle glass. For days, she has waited for her father, whose warmth once filled these walls, now lost to a blizzard, and the haunting legend of the Snow Queen's curse. The wind howls around the cottage like a mournful spirit, rattling the shutters and whispering promises of ancient sorrow. Anna's voice cracks as she pleads, "Come back, please," her longing swallowed by the storm. In the swirling whiteness beyond, a spectral figure flickers among the trees, a pale suggestion of something inhuman, cold and watchful. A distant bell tolls through the snow-laden air, its sound stretching across the frozen world. As Anna's hope withers, the curse stirs to life, and the story of suffering begins. Anna clung to hope as she watched the night deepen. The world outside was unforgiving, the snow piling higher, the cold seeping through every crack in the old walls. She remembered her father's stories of the Snow Queen, how she appeared when the world was most vulnerable, luring the desperate and the lost into her domain. Anna shivered, not from the cold, but from the certainty that her father's disappearance was no accident. Every tick of the old clock felt like a countdown. She gathered her father's woolen coat around her, inhaling the scent of pine and smoke, wishing for his arms to wrap around her once more. Outside, the storm's howls rose, mingling with the memories of laughter and warmth that seemed impossibly distant. Anna said, "You promised you'd never leave me." Yet all that answered was the moan of the wind, and the certainty that something ancient and hungry was waiting beyond the trees. As dawn threatened but never arrived, Anna drifted into a restless sleep, haunted by dreams of swirling snow and distant voices. Her father's face appeared to her in the dream, etched with sorrow and warning. He reached out, but frost bloomed across his hand, turning him to crystal before her eyes. Anna jolted awake, heart pounding, the room heavy with cold and dread. She sat up, feeling the weight of loneliness press against her chest. The wind rattled the window again, as if begging to be let in. Anna said, "I can't stay here and do nothing." Determination began to harden within her. She pulled on her boots, tied her scarf tight, and stepped toward the door, each movement shaky but resolute. Outside, the world waited, vast, white, and unforgiving, a gauntlet that only the brave or the desperate would dare to cross. Bundled in every layer she could find, Anna pushed open the heavy wooden door. The cold slapped her, raw and immediate, as if the world itself wished to keep her inside. The snow was knee-deep, erasing all trace of the path her father had taken. Anna's breath came in sharp bursts, her cheeks burning from the wind. The forest loomed ahead, branches weighed down with frost, darkness pooling between ancient trunks. With each step, Anna whispered her father's name, voice lost in the blizzard's fury. Fear gnawed at her, but beneath it, a small ember of courage flickered. "I will find you," Anna said, voice almost swallowed by the storm. The trees seemed to bend and twist, groaning as if alive. Somewhere far ahead, the shadowy figure moved, beckoning Anna deeper into the unknown. The first step into the forest was the hardest. The world behind Anna faded into a blur of gray and blue. Snow muffled every sound but the wild beating of her own heart. Each footfall was a prayer, a defiance of the fear that tried to drag her back to the safety of the cottage. Ice crusted the edges of her boots, pain flaring in her fingers, but Anna pressed on. Shadows flickered in the corners of her vision, and the bitter wind seemed to whisper her name. "Anna, Anna." The trees formed an archway, ancient and foreboding, a gateway between the known and the unknowable. With one final glance behind, at the life she was leaving, at the warmth she might never feel again, Anna stepped forward, swallowed by the heart of the storm, the curse now her only path. The forest seemed to close around Anna, muffling the world to nothing but the crunch of her boots and the desperate rhythm of her heart. As she pressed deeper, the shadows lengthened, old branches twisting above like skeletal fingers. She clung to her father's woolen scarf, its familiar smell a lifeline against the growing fear. Each memory of laughter at the hearth or gentle hands fixing her braids flickered before her eyes, fueling her with hope and agony in equal measure. Anna called out, "Father, please, can you hear me?" Her voice faded, swallowed by the storm and the silence between the trees. The path vanished beneath layers of fresh snow, but Anna forced herself onward, refusing to let go. In her mind, she repeated the promise she had made. She would bring him home, no matter the cost. The forest's breath grew colder, whispering of the perils awaiting those who could not release the ones they loved. Anna's breath grew labored as the snow thickened, swirling around her in dizzying gusts. Shapes shifted in the periphery. Ghostly white animals darted between trees, vanishing before she could focus. The forest was alive, not only with the howling wind, but with memories that threatened to pull her backward. Her mind filled with visions of the cottage, her mother humming by the fire, her father's laughter echoing through the halls. Each memory became a chain, holding Anna in place even as she struggled forward. "Don't leave me behind," Anna whispered, as if to the memory itself. Suddenly a branch cracked behind her, a sound too deliberate to be the wind. Anna froze, heart pounding, the scarf twisting in her hands. The pull of the past and the fear of what lurked ahead held her in a standoff with herself. The storm reached its fiercest, blinding Anna with snow that seemed to burn as it touched her skin. Staggering forward, she stumbled upon a clearing lit by eerie, unnatural light. In the center stood a statue, her father, or so it seemed, frozen in crystal-clear ice, his hand outstretched as if calling her name. Anna screamed, "Father!" and rushed forward, her hands slamming against the icy prison, but the cold bit deeper than any blade. Tears froze on her cheeks as the illusion cracked, the statue shattering into 1,000 glinting shards at her touch. She collapsed in the snow, grief racking her body, the fragments reflecting her own desperate face. In that moment, Anna realized that clinging to what was lost could only bring pain, yet her heart rebelled, refusing to accept what her eyes told her. The curse demanded its price, and the forest pressed closer still. The forest grew quiet as Anna wept, the only sound her ragged sobs dissolving into the snow. For a time the world seemed suspended. No wind, no life, only Anna's pain echoing among the ancient trunks. Then, from the edge of the clearing, a gentle light glimmered. Anna lifted her head and saw a small fox, silver and ethereal, standing motionless and unafraid. Its gaze was deep and kind, unjudging. Anna wiped her tears and whispered, "Are you lost too?" The fox stepped forward, nose twitching, then turned and padded slowly away, glancing back as if beckoning. Anna understood. Sometimes, the way forward was not to cling, but to follow where hope led, no matter how small or strange the guide. With a shivering breath, Anna rose and, clutching her scarf, followed the fox into the unknown. Anna stumbled after the fox, her every step an act of faith. The path wound through dense thickets, and beneath arching boughs glazed with rime. As she followed, the storm eased, revealing a different world. Moonlight streaming through crystal icicles, animal tracks tracing hidden stories in the snow, the hush of the woods like a sacred promise. Anna's pain lessened, replaced by a strange gratitude, for memory, for the chance to love, for the courage to move on. The fox glanced back, eyes urging her forward. Anna said quietly, "Thank you." She realized that love, when clung to, could turn to ice, but released, it became the light that guided her through darkness. She pressed on, lighter than before, the curse not yet broken, but the burden of attachment eased by a glimmer of hope. Anna's journey grew harder as she and the spectral fox pushed deeper into the frozen woods. Hunger gnawed at her, exhaustion sapping her every step, and the bitter cold bit through every layer she wore. Yet it wasn't just her body that ached. Her heart throbbed with a new longing. Every glimmer of light, every whisper of warmth, became an obsession. When the fox paused at a fork in the path, Anna imagined following the right way would return her father to her. The left, perhaps, would bring relief from pain. She found herself daydreaming of feasts and fires, laughter and comfort, desires so fierce they clouded her senses. "If I just had one wish," Anna muttered, eyes glittering with hope and desperation. The forest seemed to hear, branches shifting, shadows deepening. Desire crept into Anna's soul, twisting reality, urging her to take shortcuts, to bargain with whatever powers lingered in the storm. Temptation, sharp as ice, was everywhere. Driven by longing, Anna broke away from the fox's cautious lead, drawn to a golden glow pulsing behind a ring of ancient pines. "Maybe this is the way," she whispered, ignoring the warning in the fox's eyes. As she entered the clearing, the world transformed. Snow melted to reveal tables laden with food, velvet couches and laughter echoing from invisible revelers. Anna reached out, starving and exhausted, but her fingers passed through the feast as if through smoke. The illusion mocked her hunger, and every bite she tried to take vanished, leaving her emptier than before. The laughter grew cruel, shadows dancing at the edge of the clearing. Anna clutched her stomach, tears burning in her eyes. She understood that chasing desire would never satisfy. Every shortcut only deepened her ache. The fox called softly, its voice pulling her from the shimmering trap. Anna staggered back, the illusion crumbling into frost at her feet. "It's all a trick," she gasped, her voice hoarse with defeat. The fox appeared beside her, eyes clear and unblinking, radiating calm amidst Anna's turmoil. "Why do I want what I cannot have?" Anna murmured, shivering with shame. The fox led her to a pool of dark ice-clear water reflecting her gaunt face. Anna saw her own yearning, her hunger, her desperate grasping, etched deep in her eyes. "Desire is a mirage," she whispered, realizing the truth. With trembling hands, she released the vision of warmth, letting the ache pass through her. The cold remained, but the burden lightened, replaced by a stark clarity. Anna met her own gaze in the pool, and for the first time did not turn away. In accepting her longing, she found a strange, cold strength. Night deepened, and Anna, weakened but wiser, followed the fox beneath a twisted arch of trees. The woods now seemed alive with whispers, voices promising power, love, or revenge, if only she would surrender her will. Shadows took on familiar faces, tempting her with memories and dreams. Anna shut her eyes, pressing her father's scarf to her face, blocking out the illusions. "No more lies," she said fiercely. "I will not barter my heart for empty promises." The wind rose, swirling snow into ghostly forms that reached for her. Anna stood firm, breathing in the cold, raw, and real. For every desire denied, a bit of her old pain fell away, replaced by something new, resolve. The forest, sensing her refusal, shrank back, the temptations fading into silence. Anna's steps grew surer, guided by the fox's gentle, steady presence. At last, the storm eased. Anna found herself standing at the edge of a high ridge, the forest falling away into moonlit valleys beyond. The world seemed to expand, and she drew a breath so deep it hurt. For a fleeting moment, she let go of every wish, every regret. The fox sat beside her, tail curled, eyes wise and patient. Anna looked out over the endless snow, her heart lighter, emptier, yet more whole. "I am still here," she whispered, not in defeat, but in gratitude. The cold no longer felt cruel, but honest, a truth she could endure. As Anna and her guide gazed out together, she sensed the next trial awaited. But for now, she stood in the clarity that follows release, her burdens replaced by a growing flame of quiet determination. In the heart of the storm, Anna found a piece of herself. Anna and the fox descended from the ridge, into a shadowed glen, where the silence felt thick, as if the world itself were holding its breath. The path ended at a frozen pond, perfectly smooth, reflecting the moon and trees above with uncanny clarity. Anna stared into the glassy surface, and instead of her own face, saw flickering memories. Her father, their home, moments of anger and regret, every harsh word and desperate plea she'd spoken in fear. "What have I done?" Anna whispered, tears stinging her eyes. The truth washed over her, her pain, her longing, even her journey had been shaped as much by her own choices as by fate. She knelt by the ice, grief and guilt warring inside her. The fox sat silently at her side, its gaze encouraging but unjudging. Anna faced her reflection, not turning away this time, her voice trembling. "Forgive me." In that moment, the wind seemed to sigh, and a sense of release began to thaw her heart. As Anna pressed her palm to the ice, her reflection rippled, and the pond's surface shimmered with memory. A vision of her father appeared, not as she'd last seen him, but as a child, gentle, laughing, full of hope. Anna realized the curse was more than snow and silence. It was a web spun from grief, blame, and love unspoken. "I'm sorry for not listening. I'm sorry for holding on so tight," Anna said, her words carried on a shaky breath. The moon brightened, bathing the glen in silver. The fox placed its paw beside her hand, its eyes luminous. In that silent exchange, Anna understood. To break the curse, she must see herself clearly and forgive what was broken, both in her father and in her own heart. The ice began to crack, not with danger but with possibility. With a gentle crack, the ice beneath Anna's hand began to splinter, not from weight but from something deeper. Light spilled upward, swirling with colors that seemed both alien and familiar. The golden warmth of home, the green of spring meadows, the red glow of old pain. Anna gasped as faces and places drifted across the pond's surface, each demanding to be remembered, and then released. She sobbed freely, letting go of every shame and sorrow she'd carried, each tear melting into the ice. The fox sat quietly, unwavering, as if anchoring her in the present. "It's time to let you go," Anna whispered, her voice clear. One by one the haunting images faded, until only her own reflection remained, tired but honest and shining with new understanding. Anna sat back, breathless, the ice pond behind her now glowing with gentle shifting light. The fox nudged her shoulder, and Anna looked up to see the storm parting above the trees, moonlight flooding the glen. The air was warmer, alive with the scent of thawing earth and distant pine. Anna felt lighter, emptied of bitterness and filled with fragile hope. She rose, the fox at her side, and walked slowly away from the pond. Each step felt new, unburdened. The forest no longer seemed menacing. Instead, it shimmered with possibility. Anna knew the curse was not fully broken, but the hardest part, facing her own truth, was done. "Thank you," she said to the fox, to the moon, to herself. With that, she continued forward, heart softened, the journey transformed. With dawn's first blush, Anna and the fox moved forward, leaving the pond and its memories behind. The world felt changed. Birds stirred in distant branches, the snow reflected gentle pink and gold. Anna's heart beat with new hope, each step an act of forgiveness and rebirth. She glanced back only once, where the pond had been. Wildflowers now bloomed in impossible colors, a patch of spring in the midst of winter. The curse had cracked, if not broken, and Anna sensed she was closer than ever to her father, and to her true self. The fox looked up, tail wagging as if to say, "The path ahead may be uncertain, but you are no longer lost." Anna nodded, a small smile on her lips. She pressed on toward the unknown, a single shaft of sunlight leading her deeper into the forest's heart. As Anna pressed deeper into the heart of the winter woods, the forest narrowed to a narrow pass lined by black towering pines. The fox's pace slowed, its ears pinned back in warning. Frost bit sharper than ever, cutting through Anna's resolve, testing the peace she'd found. Suddenly, a glacial wind screamed through the trees, and the Snow Queen herself appeared on a rise ahead, tall, regal, and wreathed in silver mist. Her eyes were endless and cold, her gown trailing shards of ice that hissed on the ground. "Why do you seek what is lost?" the Snow Queen intoned, her voice ringing like chimes in the frozen air. Anna's courage wavered, old grief and fear rising within her, but she forced herself to speak. "I came for my father, and for myself. I want to be free." The Queen's gaze narrowed, the air growing colder, as if all the weight of winter pressed down for this final trial. The Queen raised her hand, and the world grew still. A shimmering wall of ice rose between Anna and the path forward, sharp as memory and cold as regret. "You cannot pass," the queen said, "unless you give up what you carry, your grief, your hope, your love." Anna hesitated, pain surging through her chest. Her whole journey flashed before her: loss, longing, forgiveness. The scarf in her hands felt unbearably heavy, a symbol of both her suffering and her love. "If I let go, what will remain?" Anna asked, voice trembling. The queen's expression softened almost imperceptibly, but her power did not waver. The fox pressed its head against Anna's leg, silent encouragement in its bright eyes. Anna stood at the edge, the cold pressing in, forced to choose: cling to her pain, or trust the emptiness that might remain. Tears slipped down Anna's cheeks as she stared at the scarf, her father's scent fading into the bitter wind. She remembered the lessons learned, the truth of impermanence, the pain of clinging, the strength in letting go. With a shaking breath, Anna loosened her grip. "Thank you," she whispered, pressing her lips to the wool one last time. Then, in a single motion, she cast the scarf into the storm. The wind caught it, swirling it skyward in a burst of snow and light. The queen's eyes widened, the ice wall shimmering and cracking. Anna felt empty. Then, in the hollow, a fierce warmth flickered to life. She had given up her anchor, but found a freedom greater than longing. The fox barked once, tail wagging, as the barrier before them began to fall away. The ice wall shattered in a thunder of crystal shards, light pouring through the opening as dawn broke across the forest. The Snow Queen staggered, her form flickering between regal strength and fragile sorrow. Anna stepped forward, trembling but unafraid. "You are free as well," Anna said softly, sensing the centuries of loneliness and regret in the queen's eyes. For a moment, the Snow Queen's face softened, her icy crown melting into droplets that shimmered on her brow. She bowed her head in silent acknowledgement, the storm abating around them. Anna realized the queen was not her enemy, but a mirror of her own struggle. The fox circled Anna in delight, barking at the light. Anna walked through the broken barrier, her burden gone, her spirit unbound. The curse had been shattered, not with force, but with release. As Anna left the ruins of the curse behind, the forest bloomed with light and color, snow melting from the trees, new buds breaking through frost. Anna breathed deeply, the air fragrant and alive. Her father's voice seemed to echo, not from beyond, but from within her own heart: "You are enough." The fox ran ahead, tail flashing, leading Anna toward a path dappled with sunlight and promise. Anna smiled, tears of relief warming her cheeks. She understood now. Love was not something to hold, but something to live, to release, to trust. With every step, the world grew brighter, the storm forever broken. Anna had faced the heart of winter and emerged into the first spring of her new life, guided not by longing, but by acceptance, freedom, and a love that could never be lost. Anna walked with the fox through a forest transformed. The ground, once cruel with ice, now shimmered with dew, young shoots pushing through slush. Anna marveled at the quiet beauty that followed the storm, the hush of branches heavy with melting snow, the first hopeful notes of birdsong returning. Every step felt lighter, her body unburdened and her mind at ease for the first time in memory. The world seemed new, yet she recognized every twist and tree, seeing them now with gentle acceptance rather than longing. Anna whispered, "Thank you," her voice full of gratitude for the journey, the pain, and the lessons earned. The fox paused, looking up at her with bright knowing eyes, tail swaying in calm approval. Together they moved forward, the sun rising above the horizon, painting the world with gold and the soft green of forgiveness. They passed a stand of birch trees where sunlight flickered, scattering silver across Anna's path. She paused, hearing the distant chime of a bell, not cold and lonely now, but soft and welcoming. Anna realized she was nearing the edge of the forest. She breathed deeply, letting go of the last fragments of fear, regret, and sorrow. The wind was gentle, no longer whispering threats, but carrying the scent of earth and growing things. Anna smiled. The memory of her father no longer an ache, but a quiet, steady presence guiding her steps. "I will carry you always," she whispered, pressing a hand to her heart. The fox circled her, tail brushing her ankle in playful comfort. With acceptance came clarity. The journey was not about escape, but about returning home, changed. Anna stepped into a meadow where the last snow melted into rivulets, nourishing a carpet of early wildflowers, bluebells, crocus, and pale violet. She knelt, letting her fingers trace the petals, marveling at how life persisted, rising from beneath winter's weight. The fox stretched out beside her, rolling in the grass, carefree and content. Anna laughed, the sound bubbling up unbidden, startling a flock of tiny birds into flight. For the first time, she felt joy without yearning, a gentle happiness rooted in the present moment. The meadow was quiet, save for the trickle of water and distant birdsong. Anna lingered, letting acceptance settle into her bones, her gaze soft and full of wonder. The journey had changed her, but so too had her willingness to open her heart. As Anna rose and continued, she found a fallen tree across the path. Once an obstacle, now softened by moss and new shoots. She climbed atop it, surveying the sunlit world with fresh perspective. She saw not only the beauty before her, but the hardships left behind, each now a stepping stone instead of a stumbling block. The fox leapt up beside her, ears alert, as if celebrating her transformation. Anna spoke softly, "I am not who I was, I am more." The wind stirred, and for a heartbeat, she thought she heard her father's laughter mingling with the song of birds. Anna's heart swelled, not with sorrow, but with gratitude for every step, every trial, every lesson. She hopped down, continuing on, the world wide and bright before her, the curse finally broken by acceptance. The final stretch of the journey brought Anna to the edge of the woods, sunlight spilling across her path like a blessing. She paused, looking back at the shadows and light, the storms and the sanctuary she had found along the way. The fox brushed against her, eyes full of quiet wisdom. Anna knelt and hugged the creature, whispering, "Thank you for guiding me." The fox licked her cheek, then bounded ahead, disappearing into tall grass. Anna stepped out into the open, her heart light, her spirit strong. She carried within her the peace of acceptance, the warmth of forgiveness, and the knowledge that love, once freed, could never be lost to any winter. The dawn of a new life awaited. Anna at last was home. Anna stood on the sunlit field's edge, her breath misting gently in the morning light, feeling a quiet awe settle over her. The weight of winter, both within and around her, had melted. In her chest, peace blossomed, not the absence of pain, but a deep, steady acceptance. She gazed across the field, seeing the world as if for the first time, wildflowers bobbing in the breeze, distant woods alive with bird call, each moment sharp and precious. Anna touched her chest where her father's scarf had once rested, and felt not loss, but presence, gentle, enduring, and free. "I am here," she whispered, words rippling outward. No curse, no queen, no sorrow left to haunt her. Behind her, the forest shimmered with memory. Before her, the world stretched wide, filled with the possibility of each new day. The silver fox appeared one last time at Anna's side, its eyes deep with ancient wisdom and playful affection. For a moment, they stood together in perfect stillness, connected by all they had endured. Anna knelt, pressing her forehead to the fox's, and said softly, "Thank you. I will never forget you." The fox's fur shimmered in the sunlight, a symbol of the spirit guides who find us in darkness and lead us back to ourselves. With a gentle, joyful yip, the fox bounded away across the field, dissolving into light and breeze. Anna watched, her heart swelling not with sadness but gratitude. She understood now. Everything passes, yet nothing is truly lost. The gifts of the journey endure, transforming sorrow into strength, absence into love. Alone, Anna rose and turned her face to the warming sun, letting herself be fully seen and changed by the light. She took a single deliberate step into the tall grass, her footfall light, sure, and free. The cold shadow of the curse was gone, replaced by the quiet certainty of her own resilience. Anna breathed in the scent of earth and new growth, her senses alive to every subtle wonder. "I forgive," she murmured, forgiving the world, her father, the Snow Queen, and finally, herself. With every breath, the field felt wider, the sky higher, the journey behind her weaving into the fabric of who she had become. The world no longer threatened or tempted, it simply waited, inviting her to live. Time drifted, and Anna wandered through the meadows, each step gentle and purposeful. The world felt sacred, every leaf and petal a miracle of impermanence. She lingered by a brook, watching the water dance over stones, her reflection serene. Anna's heart was quiet now, no longer yearning, simply being. "All things change and so do I," she said, voice steady, the wisdom of the journey ringing true. In that moment, Anna became the still point at the heart of her own story. The lessons of suffering, attachment, desire, and release had shaped her, but no longer bound her. She was at last both root and blossom, alive in the endless flow. As evening approached, Anna stood once more beneath a sky painted in rose and indigo. She looked back at the journey, the pain and beauty intertwined. There was no longing, only gratitude. "Nothing is permanent, and nothing is truly gone," she whispered, a gentle smile curving her lips. The wind answered with a caress, carrying her words beyond the field, beyond the woods, out into the vast waiting world. Anna's story, one of loss and love, curse and courage, became a part of the endless song of life, echoing in hearts that yearned for peace. As darkness settled, Anna's eyes caught the first evening star. She closed them, breathed deeply, and let the last remnant of winter slip away, leaving only quiet wonder and the boundless light of liberation.